please hit that subscribe button.
Hey everybody.
Better suited to win the Stanley Cup this season. If you are new to the channel, Washington Capitals, the Boston Bruins.
Locked on and he scored! And we're live. Hey everybody. So I've done my predictions for all 8 play-in series now in the NHL when hockey does return. But now I want to shift my attention a little bit and talk about the 4 teams at the top of each conference, East and West, that will be playing in a round-robin tournament amongst each other to determine the seeding, the top 4 seeds in each conference for the actual playoffs. So in the East, we have Boston, Tampa Bay, Washington, and Philadelphia. And in the West, we have St. Louis, Colorado, Vegas, and Dallas, and they will be playing within their conferences, look against each other to determine the top 4 seeds heading into the playoffs. So these games, obviously a lot of the attention is going to be on the actual play-in series because that has a lot on the line as far as who get that determines, not even just a lot on the line with regards to it, but that determines who gets into the playoffs and who does not. Whereas these 4 teams are already in the playoffs. We know that they're in the playoffs, but we don't know what order the seeds are going to be. And that's what these are going to be determining. So well, I've already done predictions for the play-in series. I figured I might as well do my predictions for the seeding as well among the top 4 teams. So we might as well do it. That's what we're going to do today. Before we begin, I just ask that you please subscribe if you're new and hit that like button if you haven't already and give this video a thumbs up. It really, really helps out a lot. But let's get into it here. Let's start in the East, talking about the top 4 teams where, like I said, we have Boston, Tampa Bay, Washington, and Philadelphia. Now, trying to predict these games, I mean, these are the best teams in the conference playing against each other. So trying to predict these games is pretty much impossible to do it, realistically. Either team can win any of these games. They're the best teams in the league. But I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say Tampa Bay goes 3-0 in this round robin. I think Tampa Bay, they usually play well against Boston. They win more than they lose when it comes to the Bruins. I definitely think that they can beat Washington, and Philly is a team that they can beat as well. So I'm going to go out on a limb, give 3 wins into the win column here for Tampa Bay, and 1 loss in the loss column for everyone else in the East. I think Tampa goes 3-0 here and claims that number 1 seed. As far as the rest of it goes, let's see. Boston, oh man, well, Boston never beats Washington. I mean, literally never beats Washington, so that's another loss. I'm not going to say Boston goes 0-3, so we'll give Boston a win against Philadelphia, a loss against Washington, a loss against Tampa Bay, and Boston now sits at 1-2 through their 3 games. Washington, well, we know that we have them beating Boston. We have them beating Boston, so that's a win in their win column. They already have a loss from Tampa Bay. We'll say that they lose to Philadelphia as well. I think Philly can win that game. That's a good matchup for the Flyers. And, I don't see Philly going 0-3. I don't see any of these teams not winning a game. So we'll give Philly their win against Washington. And then Washington will beat the Bruins. So they're 1-2 as well. And that leaves Philly at 1-2 also with a win against Washington, but a loss against Boston and Tampa Bay. So that is interesting. So basically how this seeding would now work out with Tampa Bay at 3-0 and the rest of the conference at 1-2. It would come down to the tiebreaker, which is point percentage from the regular season, which would then put Boston as the number 2 seed, Washington as the number 3 seed, and Philadelphia as the number 4 seed. And that is not much different than how it is now going into the round robin, where the only difference is Boston and Tampa Bay switched and flip-flopped as number 1 and number 2. So not too much changing there in the East with my predictions. So Tampa now 1, Boston 2, Washington 3, and Philadelphia 4. Moving on over to the West here. Right now it sits St. Louis, Colorado, Vegas, and Dallas. And let's take a look here. We'll see. St. Louis, I don't see them going 3-0. I don't see any of these Western Conference teams going 3-0. I think they're too evenly matched. We'll say St. Louis definitely beats Dallas. I think St. Louis beats Dallas. We'll give Colorado a big win over St. Louis. That would be huge for them. Or no. We're gonna say St. Louis beats Colorado. In Vegas, then St. Louis drops a game to Vegas. Okay, St. Louis drops it to Vegas here. So big win. Oh, they'll beat Dallas. They should beat Dallas. Big win against Colorado. That St. Louis Colorado game is going to be huge when they play. But then they drop a game against Vegas because I don't see them going 3-0. So we got St. Louis now at 2-1. Colorado, we know we got one in the loss column from St. Louis. We've got them definitely beating Dallas as well. Colorado should easily beat the Stars. So Vegas, Colorado, Vegas. I'll give that one to Colorado. Colorado picks up a big win there, so they go 2-1 as well. So now we've got St. Louis and Colorado both at 2-1. Vegas, we already know that we have them beating, or I have them beating St. Louis. So Vegas beats St. Louis, but loses to Colorado, and I don't see Dallas going 0-3. So we'll say that they drop that game to Dallas as well. Ben Bishop plays out of his mind, and Dallas wins it 2-1, and the Vegas drops that game to Dallas. So now Vegas is 1-2, and that leaves Dallas, who, as we know, picked up the win against Vegas but lost against St. Louis and Colorado. So Dallas is also 1-2, same as Vegas, and that means that St. Louis and Colorado both finished the round robin 2-1. Vegas and Dallas both finished the round robin 1-2, and that would mean the order where the ties would be broken by point percentage, and they would not change. So St. Louis would remain number 1, Colorado would remain number 2, Vegas number 3, and Dallas number 4. So I have nothing changing in the West as far as the seeding goes, as far as the order. So, yeah, I mean, this is a complete crapshoot. I'm just spitballing ideas here, throwing things out there. Again, when these teams play, they are the best teams in the conference playing against each other. Either team can win any matchup. It's pretty much a coin flip. So I'm just throwing it out there. But here's my predictions for the top 4 seeds. In the East, I've got Tampa Bay number 1, Boston 2, Washington 3, and Philadelphia 4. The only difference there is Tampa Bay and Boston flip-flop at 1-2. And in the West, I've got St. Louis coming in first, Colorado coming in second, Vegas coming in third, and Dallas in fourth, and that changes nothing. That means the teams stay in the exact same order of seeding that they are right now. So, yeah, those are my predictions for the top 4, I guess, the top 4 round robin that will happen in each conference. Those games are going to be fun to watch. It's going to be very, very good hockey. You obviously have the best teams in the conference there playing against each other, so it should be a lot of fun. We'll see how it actually turns out, but I'm just throwing some predictions out there, and there we go. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description below. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon and merchandise store are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.